Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another Indies comic book reviews episode. I was about to say series. Review episode.
Very good.
And this is going to be a heavy week for Mike. I'm going to be pulling a U on the big two reviews basically and doing a lot of sitting back and listening to you talk about books. Heavy and busy week. But before we get into the books, the books that came out this week, which was December 11th, we're going to backtrack a bit. Mike, you have a book, and I have a book. I'm starting off with the last digital book.
I'm getting the pictures.
Okay, I know. I'm waiting for you to get that, at least the picture set up.
Go on. Just continue.
Okay, you sure?
Just go.
Okay. So, I'm getting to the last digital book I have at this time. There are more. Of Argo 5. Issue number 5, ironically.
Yep.
There are further issues. You can get them at argocomics.com. You can check all the awesome issues out. This issue, issue 5, came out July 2012, so that gives you a little bit of an idea of how many more issues there are out there. I believe I talked with Dan, and there are 9 out so far, and the 10th is on the making. He'll correct me in the comments. I know he'll be watching. But Argo 5, issue number 5, is part 2 of 2 of Shazrat's brother being on Earth. And basically he destroyed. Now I have everything bookmarked this time. On Desden, he just in the last issue we found out that Desden was in ruin, everybody was turned to stone, and who is to blame? Shazrat's brother. But Shazrat's brother is working with Megacorp. He's part of General Thor's army or group. And when Argo 5 fights or shows aggression towards Megaforce, they take this as an act of aggression, and thus Argo 5, after losing against them, they retreat, and now they're in hiding. For this entire issue, most of it, 90% of it, Argo 5 is missing, and the issue is General Thor basically sending himself and his troops out to find Argo 5. And you see a bunch of people from that were in previous issues or that were mentioned in other issues. You even get to see comic geeks. Everybody's being interrogated. They're trying to find where Argo 5 is. Argo 5 has completely disappeared off the face of the earth, or so it seems. I want to get to the part where
artwork looks, as always, the best.
Spectacular. I love this artwork.
It's really good. Amazing.
But they do come face to face with, I can't remember this team name, I gotta remember it. But it's with Gladiatra's brother, Ultro. And I like Ultro, I gotta say that. He left North America, joined the Canadian team, and now he's part of an American team again. But anyway, there's this huge fight between Ultro's team and General Thor's Megacorp team. And in the end, basically, it was a stalemate. Thor gets his ass, pardon my language here, handed to him at the end of this fight. And Ultro basically just says, enough, this is pointless, we don't know where Argo 5 is, so that's it. We're not fighting anymore. Fight ends, and then we find out where Argo 5 actually is. And a bit of a spoiler alert here, Argo 5 was undercover at Megacorp the entire time. Shazrat finally gets the medallion away from Gadu. Gadu escapes thanks to General Thor. I hate General Thor, and if he did show up in further issues of Argo 5, I hope he got hit in the head with a rock. I don't like him, but anyway, Shazrat's ex, I'm going to call her, was freed. She goes back to Desden to fix everything. Gadu is still somewhere hidden on Earth, and Gladiatra's not too happy about that. She said that she would come back for Shazrat at some point, and she says if she ever returns, she's gonna have to get through me. Wow. And that's where the issue ends. And she also tells General Thor, if you ever need our help in the future, don't bother. And then you get the pinup section, which once again is an awesome section.
The art gallery.
Yeah, I love it. I love the pinups. I'm especially a fan of the Blue Dynamo ones. Every time I see them.
Yeah, did Blue Dynamo intro of this at all?
All the Argo 5 were undercover until the very end of the issue.
Also, so it was basically based on different heroes.
Mm-hmm. And I would say, out of the 6, because there's issues here, out of the 6 issues I read of Argo 5, I am definitely a hooked fan. If I had access to the other books, I would have loved to have reviewed them too, but out of the 5 plus issue 0 that I read, I would 100% highly recommend you guys check out Argo 5. Give issue 0 a shot, give issue 1 a shot, both a shot. I would definitely say you will be hooked on the series and you'll definitely want to read more. 5 out of 5 stars. Dan has gone above and beyond with this series, and I really loved Argo 5. You're up next.
Yep, and that's an Assailant comic. This is an issue number 1 written by Chris Charleston, which is Sleepless, issue number 1. Now, Sleepless, it was very interesting. Like, there was some story arcs, like there's this first story arc that talks about this guy who fell in love with this his wife, so to say, and he just started drinking and everything, and he said, you know, love, she was my everything, and then these zombies come in, and I believe he shot his own lover, and in the end, the zombies wound up just eating him or something. The artwork did change in different story arcs, like the second one. Ooh, you're going a little
which is
fast
cool.
there. Yeah, like the second story arc talked about this guy who was African American, who also fell in love with his wife, but he said, like, after this whole apocalypse thing that happened, like, things weren't the same anymore. So it was kind of relating to different stories, but I like how the art changed in a way of, like, saying, okay, we're gonna make the art look like this and then make the art look like that. Like, I thought that was pretty cool in this comic book. But the other story arc where it talks about this guy who was abducted by aliens, the arc was a little bit weird, and the story itself was kind of weird. But then we find out that the guy who the aliens abducted put a new chip inside his mind because he was trying to leave for once, and that didn't work out so well. So what they did was implant a new chip inside of him to make him a new person, I guess, because of the old, out with the old chip in with the new. And he just started a new life with just being with women, I guess, from what I see. And then there was this last story arc underneath where it says the end about this boy who lived with his mother because his father wasn't around. And I felt so bad for this boy. Like, he was bullied and he was just getting beaten up and everything. And his mother decided to take revenge on the bullies. And let's just say things turned out very bloody. In a way of saying, like, don't mess with my son. And that was really something else. But I thought it was really interesting. Like I said before, I like the artwork, how it changed for each story arc. And if you guys want to read more, you can definitely check it out. That's Sleepless, issue number 1. You can check it out on the website, www.assailantcomics.com. Like I said before, Chris Charleston does his comic books of Assailant. I enjoy reading them. Hopefully, like when I get in contact with him, I'll get more issues of Sleepless, Black of Heart, whether physical or PDF. Probably PDF, really, because I don't have the physical.
Yeah, you mean digital?
Well, digital, right?
Yes.
PDF and digital, it's the same thing.
No, it's digitally.
Okay, digitally. But I'll see what I can do. But once again, Chris Charleston with Assailant Comics does amazing books. I recommend you check out his comic books. They're just, artwork and all is just really interesting reading.
Okay, and we are now officially getting into the books from this week, which were released. No, it's okay. I'm just giving it an honorable mention.
Oh, okay.
So, we're getting into the books that were released on December 11th, 2013. As you guys know, the indie reviews are always a week behind everything else. We're going to work on trying to keep the indie reviews on time with, but this does take place before the actual comic review. So we are still technically in the right Wednesday, even though it was last Wednesday. Anyway, December 11, 2013. We're getting closer and closer to the end of the year. And honorable mention goes to Garfield, issue number 20. Loved this issue. Lisa Moore does the coloring. And you can't not like Lisa Moore's coloring. And you can't not like Garfield, period. Garfield in the first story goes to obedience school. That was a hilarious story. And then, for those of you that are fans of Pep Force, guess who's back in the second story, Pep Force. This was
Pep Force makes
100%. This was
Wow.
100% an awesome issue, and if you are a Garfield fan, such as myself, you will love
And me.
this issue. You will love Garfield in general. I love reading Garfield on my weeklies every day, on my dailies every day, on my monthlies every month in the comic form. But anyway, now let's get into some physical books.
Yes. Physical
Mike
books.
has all the physical books this week, so go ahead, have
Yes.
fun. I'll
So-
sit here and just relax.
Yeah, you do that with that Santa Claus hat. Starting with this new story arc that I actually want to pick up, Astro City issue number 7. It's not issue number 1, but like I just said before,
It's a new story
it's a new
arc. I told
story
Mike to
arc,
give it a
yeah.
shot.
So I was looking through it. Talks about this guy who got beaten up, and then there's some action
I
with
like the art.
angels. Yeah, the artwork is beautiful in this comic book. Like apparently, like there's this guy that was beaten up that got hurt pretty badly, and he's saying that he's Joey LaCrosse is what his name is, and there's this angel who is like his guardian and everything, and yeah, I'll give you some artwork right here to explain how the artwork is, and basically she's just trying to find answers. There's this guy who shows up who remind me of Superman. I'm telling you, some of these people remind me of Superman, just the way they're.
Well, it's Vertigo
appearances and
Comics, so once again, Vertigo works with
And
DC.
I don't think he had a name because I don't see her saying what his name is. But basically, he wanted to help her with the mission that she wants to do. And
Anybody who wants to help Mike out, feel free to leave it in the comments.
yeah, but she says, no thanks. Like I don't thanks for the offer, but I think I can handle this on my own. So he backs away. We get the people who are behind this whole thing, and if you want to know what they're about, you can pick up this comic book. There are a bunch of people that don't like this angel woman. Like they think like she's a criminal, that she needs to be locked up because of her powers and everything. And she takes it, as it is, but it's very hard to do that. And then we get some action where there are lots of fightings, and
That is action.
that is action, and it's just really good. Like I was in awe with all this action, and there's someone that says that they'll be needing her to come in to aid in their inquiries, the policemen, and she says she can't do that. Like she feels like she doesn't want to get involved in all this, and just the story itself. Like I was really. I mean, even this part right here, where she actually picks up a sword, and she hears so many about that she's strong and that she's not alone. Like they try to motivate her in some sort of way, just to come back and ignore what people say, and just fight for what you believe in. And things just don't seem to be getting better for further issues to come along. So definitely want to see how this issue is going to
Series.
or how the series actually is going to be picking up, though. So I can't wait to see how things will go from either better or for worse. By the way, that was Vertigo Comics, Astro City 7. Going into Oni Press, The Sixth Gun, issue number 36. And unlike last time I had it digitally, I have a physical copy, because I thought might as well get a physical copy of this. So that way I can show some artwork. There is some parts where the villain we got introduced in the last one has a new mutant that he had. And there's just a whole bunch of dialogue here between these two people. Artwork is pretty okay, I will say that much. And they're talking about Boot Hill, like a river of blood and an army of the dead, so to say. And they talk about what it's about and everything. And what was really what I liked, though, is that this skeleton guy tries to look for Ruth, and he meets up with the villain right here. And you know what I like about this part? Like, you know how when some of the villains like try to draw them in saying, if you join me, you'll get what you want, and he actually shows it. And he's like saying, you know, what do you want me to do in order to see Ruth again? So he went from being on the good side now to his side. But you know there's something up his sleeve. Because you can't trust a villain to do anything. Because there's always something, you know, they promise, but promises are never kept. So he'll find that out the hard way when we get to it. If that ever comes to that. So, then there's a talk where the woman goes back and things don't look so not good for this woman in the end. And this one kind of was creepy. The Tooth comic book. Probably I'll look into that. But all in all, I did leave out some stuff because I want you guys to read it. But
Oni Press has some really good books. I'm actually interested in reading Scott Pilgrim after being forced to watch the movie by a person whose name shall not be mentioned. But beside the point, you know who you are. You're probably listening in the background somewhere.
oh,
So I'm actually interested in reading the book more than watching that movie again. But the movie was pretty good. Anyway, Oni Press has been really awesome.
yes.
So
And now for some Image Comics.
if you guys would like to see some Scott Pilgrim, let us know in the comments below.
Okay. And now into Image Comics, The Walking Dead, issue number 118, All Out
Yeah, what
War,
happened next? I didn't get to read that.
chapter 4 of 12. Oh, I think, I mean, it was really just focused on really one side of the story, really, like,
Whose side this time? The hillside?
to Negan's side,
Or
actually.
Negan's side?
And he's just talking about, you know, this woman comes out saying, like, is everything over? Is Negan dead? And he's just saying, he reminds me of Negan. I can't remember what his name is.
That's Kate.
Yeah, Kate. Yeah. And he's just saying that that this all was a suicide mission, and he saved his army's lives and everything. And there's just Kate just thinks that he's on Negan's side of the whole thing of right or wrong, and you know, and Kate doesn't like just what he's saying about, you know, respecting for Negan and everything.
Oh, I'm sorry, not. It's Maggie.
I mean Maggie, yeah. I just
I don't know
saw
why I
the
called
name.
her Kate.
But yeah, her name is Maggie Green, by the way. Oh, it's black and white, which is fine. Color
Yeah,
black
we
and
all
white.
know that.
But he's just saying, like, don't allow your leader to ruin your lives, you know. Like, just everything that happens, like, she thinks that Rick had something to do with all this and everything, and this is a big dialogue, and she actually believes in
Oh,
Rick.
this is a huge page. He even signed it. I would show that page.
Yeah, this one right here.
I don't know why he signed it. I guess he signed it because it's a huge page.
Yeah. And then we get back to Rick's side of the story, where, you know, Carl and Michonne are having a little conversation. It looks more like a heart-to-heart conversation, like, you know, how everyone's scared about what's going on and everything. And then there's a fight where Rick is fighting, and, you know, he's not in that many panels, Rick, like only a little bit. And it's just really...
Now with the kingdom, apparently.
Yeah, this is just really an all-out war, like, everywhere. Like, everyone's just shooting and fighting, walkers galore, and even tigers coming in to... Well, a tiger comes in, and I just don't want to give too much away because it's just a really amazing story, this one. There is less swearing, I will say that, because the last...
Negan's not even in it.
Yeah, because the last one was, like, really all swearing, so if they keep it, like, there's a little bit of swearing, not too much, like we saw in the last issue, but this one was
Better.
much better.
I'll have to read this later.
Yeah, you should. Coffin Hill from Vertigo Comics, issue number 3. The investigation of what happened in the forest. And who's behind all this and what it's all about. So, her and Nate go to find out about this investigation, and she goes to meet her mother, by the way. And the artwork is really drawn amazingly. Like, I really like this artwork. It's epically drawn. And
I like it.
yeah, the mother's just being herself, like saying, "Oh, you're this and oh, you're that. Why'd you come back?" and everything. So she's just not really a good role model for her. So she goes to a asylum to visit Melanie LaFerez, like a friend that she used to hang out with. And she meets with crazy psychos, and she also meets up with a doctor who, does all these patients. And we get a little bit about Melanie and her backstory of why she has these bruises on her arms and stuff like that. It's really graphic, that part of the story. And Mel goes crazy, and one of the insane patients thinks that Coffin's a witch because of what she does. And there's there are some people who don't like Coffin because of what she did to someone's daughter a long time ago. And I like how they go to the backstory. They refer to the 2003 Coffin Hill Woods 2 days before Halloween. And how it really shows like how it connects from then to now, actually. And, this doctor right here, like, he's just really something else. Like, he's just nuts. And then Mel, in the end, spoiler, saves Coffin's life by putting a corkscrew, a little knife to it. And Mel seems to be okay. And there is some swearing too.
Okay is a relative term, but okay.
Yeah, there is some swearing, so I do prefer adult readers around the age of 18 years old to read this because there's some graphic stuff in it. So definitely for adult readers, as disclaimer.
Next, and finally,
Archie Comics.
that's the physical finally. We still have 10 more digital.
Yes, Mega Man, issue number 32. The last chapter, in part actually, of The Curse of Ramun. So, here it is, part 4, The Curse of Ramun, the Total Eclipse. Artwork is just spot on excellent, this one. Where Mega Man is fighting with Rithor, who is under Ramun's spell, from what we saw in the last issue. Proto Man, or Breakman actually, does help out in this fight. And Mega Man, he just uses every single energy he can, even the fight against Ramun. And there's not much time because Ramun is going to take over Robot Extinction. And so Mega Man comes up with an idea to use all of his weapon energy. And it's more like a sacrifice. And Dr. Wily's like saying, he's like unstoppable. Like, what if you don't survive this? So he does everything he can to face Ramun before he does his super attack. And after that, this is how it all ends. Ramun has been defeated thanks to Mega Man and his huge sacrifice. So, at Light Labs, role is okay, as we see, and robots are still helping humans, which I always see as a good thing. But things don't turn out so well in the end, where it seems that, spoiler, Mega Man is dying after that huge sacrifice. And basically that's
Ramu's
the end
not
for
over
now.
yet.
Yeah, so the Curse of Ramu is over, but at what cost? And there's more to be seen next time. Short Circuits, I always read, is funny. Next issue, I'm getting a variant cover. Because
Yeah,
the way
that's
the
creepy,
other
right?
issue, very, very creepy. But looking over that, the Curse of Ramun, the whole series gets, I would say, between a 4.5 to 5 out of 5. Great story, amazing adventure, and it was great to see how Mega Man defeated Ramun and
Alright,
everything else.
we have 2 minutes before we have to click the camera, so really quick, Mike, the Max from IDW issue number 2. What'd you think of that book? I did not have a chance to read it at all yet.
I did read it though. I actually found this to be pretty good. Like there is more into this story about what we saw from last issue about this big cloak that was going against the Max, and he wants to like know more information from him, and there's just like an old big fight out at the gas station. I don't want to give too much away because I want you guys to really read this. There's this one girl that we get a story about as well, and she's just chained, and these things that he does to
Yeah,
her
let's not
is
talk
just,
about what it is.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that because that part alone is just cruel and just uncalled for to happen in that situation. But going into back to the story though, it does get a little bit crazy by some of the characters, but most of all, like it looked to be pretty okay. The artwork was the same as before, so there's nothing bad about the artwork, and I'll see in the next issue how things go, and if I will be reading more.
Alright guys, give us one click of a button and we shall continue with this week's books. So we're going to take a brief pause, and for you guys it'll be a second, so hang tight and we will continue in a second. Alright, and continuing on with IDW, we have The X-Files issue number 7, which I actually read this one. This was a really good book. It explained the Fluke people more. I said Fluke, right? It's the Fluke, right?
Yeah.
With the flag. I want to make sure I didn't say the wrong. Yeah, Fluke men.
Yeah, here you go.
So, we get a little bit of a backstory on a certain person who died way back in the 1980s, and then we go back to
what happened in the last issue.
What happened in the last issue, where Mulder was actually being attacked by a bunch of the Fluke people. They actually do gang up on him, and he does get
rescued.
He gets rescued, but he does get implanted by the Fluke people's their bites. He gets infected.
Yeah.
Then basically the rest of the issue is Sully saving Mulder because all the eggs and everything are in his liver.
And how to take it out of him.
And then we get a little bit more of a backstory on the Fluke people, where the first Fluke man actually came from, and how it's connected to the sheriff of that state, of that piece of Jersey. Don't want to give too much away. Let's just say the ending, though.
Oh wow, the ending.
It's definitely a bloody one. It's a case that everybody believes the Fluke people are dead, all the Fluke worms were destroyed. However, that may not exactly be the case. Once again, I don't want to give too much away. I like to keep things very broad, but I'm looking forward to next year with the X-Files, especially because the X-Files are going to be the huge IDW crossover for next year. So I'm really excited for that, and we're going to be covering that on this review, as well as on Dark Avenger Inc. So look forward to our review, mine and Mike's review on here. We're going to be covering the entire series, every single issue crossover, and look forward to everybody on Inc. getting involved with the crossover on Dark Avenger Inc. Yeah. That was weird the way I said that on Inc. Anyway, beside the point, look forward to everybody getting a piece of the whole crossover. So do we have anything else from IDW before we move into... Yes, we do. Yeah, Indestructible, issue number 1. You read most of it. I read a piece of it.
Yes.
So what did you think? Yeah, we actually have 2 more. So what did you think of Indestructible? 3 more.
Indestructible, I actually found this to be, it does talk about, an origin a little bit. It talks about, more about celebrities, about how this woman was a celebrity, and he wanted to be one too, but he was, he wasn't really known, and plus he was very short, and this girl was, tall. It was like David and Goliath right there. But he wanted to be a celebrity, and he was seeing how this other celebrity is treated. So he just wanted to know how, he could be one of them, and how, he could be the way, I don't know if it was her sister or anything else, but this guy who she was with was not so nice of a person, the way I saw it. And I didn't really like him that much either. So he goes to a rental store to order a movie, and before they lock up,
He gets a game.
yeah, and there's these burglars who come in and rob the store, and just
They shoot him.
Yeah, they shot him, and the cashier fainted, but for some odd reason he survived. And they want to know, how he did survive, and they explained that there was a metal piece or something. I think it was
He had a flask.
a
in
flask.
His,
Thank you, a
in
flask.
his pocket.
And the police think that that since he was alive, they think that he is
Superhero.
a superhero,
He's indestructible.
invulnerable.
Basically, he's invulnerable, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just trying to tell him that he's really not, and now he became a celebrity like he wanted to be, and now there's just lots of stuff that he's gonna have to do, including there's also a mark
League
that
of
he has.
Defenders.
And yeah, so the next is gonna meet the League of Defenders. And
That's
I'm
gonna
actually
be
looking
funny.
forward to that.
It's going to be funny watching to see how he actually survives that. Another issue that I read was the Rocketeer Spirit issue 4. The artwork made it a little bit difficult because I'm very used to Chris Samnee's art, and it's very clear that he didn't finish the book, so we're on the second arc. It's okay. Turns out that the spirit actually snaps Betty out of whatever she's in, or she was acting the whole time. I would say that she was in a trance and she's just pretending that she was. Anyway, beside the point, Rocketeer tries to get back to Betty in spirit, but gets back a little bit late, so to speak. The Spirit and Betty actually fight their way out of that situation. Spirit actually wants Rocketeer to go back home. He actually gives Rocketeer his own mask. This way he doesn't have to wear his helmet all the time. There's an incident at the White House where actually the president wears the Rocketeer clothes.
Wow.
And I'm not going to spoil the ending. I'm going to stop right there. Also, because I didn't really finish the last 2 pages of this book. Now that I remember, kind of ended right there for me. But basically, the Rocketeer and Spirit saved the day. They saved the president, and basically, it was a fun team up. In all, though, as far as the book goes, it was good. But I did not like that they had that constant change up of that change up in art after the first 2 issues jumped into a different art style. It kind of gave a little bit of a hiccup to the book, and you had to get reused to new artwork before the series ended. So you had 2 issues where it was Chris Samnee, and then 2 other issues where it wasn't, and that's why they were delayed also. So in total, though, it's definitely something I'd say to give a look into. The first 2 issues were spectacular. Third one was okay. Fourth one was pretty good also. So all in all, I would definitely say it was an average read, but it was a really good read. And if you're a fan of the Spirit or the Rocketeer, you'll definitely want to give them a check out. Next is your book, which I know you want to really talk about that one.
And ignore that sound. Sinister Dexter, issue number 1. Okay. It's the first issue, and I was, gonna read it. So, first of all, there is nudity.
Yeah.
So this is for very mature readers, and they use a different terms instead of using swears. They use different words and all that. I'm not gonna say what they were, but whoa, you're going too fast. Basically in the first story, They go to see this guy who is a playboy, filmmaker, and everything, and they just want to find answers to him about, if you want to read about it, you can. Our work was a little bit okay, and then we get to the second story, to jump that fast. They're in like a snowstorm, these two guys. I can't remember their names for the life of me. And,
EJ?
yeah, EJ and, the other guy. Like, they're just, trying to find out more. They like do investigations, so to say. Like, they're sort of like detectives in some sort of way. And it's really, all shootings and, everything else. And it was really weird. So after I was done reading this,
I would be like, what?
X'd it out and said, what the hell did I just read?
Stuff.
It was the weirdest, and first of all, the swearing when they switched the words around, I mean, cute really, but not that I would, it was just the weirdest thing I've ever read.
Alright.
I don't even know what I read. It was just...
So then let's move on.
Let's just move on.
We're going to move into Dark Horse for a couple of books. Actually, wait, do we have one book that's outside of... Oh, no, wow. The rest of the review is all Dark Horse books. Ironically. So we're going into Dark Horse for the rest of the review.
Alright. Go ahead.
No, this is your book.
I can't remember what it was called.
X.
Oh, yeah. X.
Issue
Issue
number 8.
number 8. Right there.
This is volume 2. They always call it X volume 2. I don't know why, but yeah.
So this issue, they show two sides of a story. Like, they show this woman side of the story who they think that she's related to X and what he's been doing and everything. While there's this other side of the story who is where these guys are getting kidnapped by these other police officers and they do so much hurting. And then we get an appearance by the X who comes in. And I wouldn't say like he's much of a killer. Like, he's just one of those people that just brings things to justice. Like, not bring people to the policeman. Like, he just justifies his own way of justice in some sort of way. And his costume's amazing, though. I have to say that for those who have been reading X or not X. He just really has a great costume. And there was one part where he shot a woman, but he didn't really shoot her with a real gun. It was actually a paintball gun, so she survived the whole attack, which I thought was pretty funny of that part. And X seems to be more of an anti-hero. Like, not
Kind of
like a
like
hero
the
or
Green
villain.
Hornet.
Yeah, kind of like the Green Hornet. I was actually going to point that out. Kind of like the Green Hornet, but I liked it. So, you guys should definitely check it out, for those who have been reading X or not.
Brain Boy issue number 0. Actually, I looked through this. The artwork in this book was pretty good, actually, in my opinion.
Pretty good. It was really good, the way I saw it.
So what did you think of the issue?
I thought this issue was very interesting. It talks about a guy who was a millionaire. I can't
He has
remember.
psychic powers also, I believe.
Yeah, like, they talk about how he got, his name's right there, the first one. Like, go down. I think it was Richard.
It is Richard.
Yeah. So Richard actually talks about, himself and who he is, and he seems to be a real millionaire, so to say, the way he lives.
Matthew?
Matthew. And he talks about himself, about how he got these psychic powers, and how he uses them, and how he uses...
Yeah, they call him Brain Boy.
Yeah, because he uses, like, telepathic powers. And he could see what other people are thinking, saying, and everything else. And, he uses them to... they call him Brain Boy, because he, does telekinetic powers and everything, or telepathic, however it's said. And he gets more information about this medicine that he wants to take to ease the power, which kind of was a little bit working out for him. Like, not so well, but kind of working out for him. And then he uses his powers very wisely, because he wasn't using it that wisely before. But with this medicine he took, he tries to ease his powers a little bit and use it little by little. We do see the president who appears in one panel, who is President Obama, who appears. And there's just this thing where he looks at other people's minds to find out more information that has to deal with a...
little girl?
Yeah, with this little girl and, where she is and everything. And they do find her. And she actually has telepathic powers of her own. And this might be his daughter, because of the way, that she has powers as well. And her life was a little bit, because him and this woman, who I believe was his ex-wife, had a little bit of an argument with each other. But then she gets into care from this woman. Oh, what's her name? I hate when I forget names, but basically she takes her in for safety. Georgina takes her in, and she has a robotic arm, by the way. But there's also something else that he wants to find out that was written under this table of different names of different people. And we just
probably all with the same powers he has.
Probably all with the same powers he has. Like, we don't know if that's the case, but to me it looks like that's what's going to be about. Really something else. But in a way, a great issue. I like to read telepathic powers because, I don't know, it's just something about that story that makes it very interesting in some sort of ways.
Star Wars issue number 12. It's official. Stealth Squadron is gone. Rogue Squadron begins. I'm skipping the entire beginning, which basically explains the entire plot to the first story arc of Star Wars. I did not review it, thus I don't want to give away too much about this plot, because I feel like then I'm spoiling the entire first story arc for those of you that did not read Star Wars issue 1 and didn't hear my review of the first story arc. So I'm going to be skipping most of the beginning dialogue. If you've been reading Star Wars, you know what it's about. There was a rebel who went into the Empire. I don't want to say who that person was, but he went in as an undercover spy, and now he's just come back to Rogue Squadron. So anyway, basically Wedge throws out that he does not want to do Black Ops anymore. He wants the squadron to be out in the open. So he gains command of Rogue Squadron now. For those of you that, like me, are huge fans of the video game series Rogue Squadron, you know exactly what Rogue Squadron is. Wedge Antilles, Luke Skywalker, leading the Rogues through several missions against the Empire. So Wedge goes to the group and tells them all that, Stealth Squadron's gone, but it's not the end. We're going to start Rogue Squadron, and I want all you guys on board. The girl that Luke fell in love with in the first story arc is leaving.
Yeah,
because she actually left in the middle of battle during the first story. See, this is a lot of cleaning up the last story arc and starting off the new one. But in the last story arc, she abandoned Wedge and Luke to run back to the fleet ship and tell them the news. And she knows that nobody's ever going to allow her to live that down, that it's always going to be a mark on her. So she decides to leave. Han Solo and the Princess Leia have their moment, which I thought was hilarious.
They always have their
I love their
moments.
moments in the Star Wars series. And then we find out about a new homeworld where the Rogues are going to be based off of, and basically it's run by a prince. And the reason Leia got the planet was basically she promised to marry him. So it's a fair trade. She marries him, and the homeworld becomes the underground base of the Rogues. And Han doesn't really look too happy about that, but one complaint I do have is the letterer of this book should realize that R2-D2 is not spelled A-R-T-O-O. It's the letter R and the number 2. Not Art-2. R2. And 3PO, he kind of does the same thing, but not as bad. But it's not A-R-T-O-O. It's the letter R and the number 2. He's R2-D2.
R2D2.
Right.
With the letter D in it.
Not ARTOO dash whatever you want to spell D2. DEETOO. No. He's R2D2. So, and then we find out that there is actually going to be, the next story arc is going to be about Darth Vader. He's actually leaving on his own little, he has his own plans. He's leaving the Empire, not the Empire in whole, but he's we don't know where he's going yet. And then it ends with Princess Leia on the planet, and then it says to be continued in issue 15. This is issue 13. What about 14 and 15? 14. Or this is issue 12, so what about 13 and 14? 13 and 14 are going to be the 5 Days of the Sith, Vader's redemption from what happened in the beginning of the series. So the next 2 issues of Star Wars are going to be a main focus on Darth Vader. And then we're going to come back and continue the series with the Rogues and with the new home planet of the Rebels.
Yep.
But until then, we get 2 issues of Darth Vader, which I think is really cool. Artwork in this book is amazing. Story is amazing. If you aren't reading this, you really should be. Next, I'll give you one of your books, Mike.
The next book is Bloodhound, issue number 3 of 5. And Bloodhound, this comic was really like all over the place between I can't remember his name, the Bloodhound guy. Like he well they all want to know about this doctor who broadcast about this new medicine that he was planning to bring out, and for those Travis, that was his name. I knew it started with the letter T. About this doctor who has the medicine, and there's a newscast about how they feel about this new medicine that he came out with from the last issue. And he's just listening to it as he's exercising and everything, and it's just like one of the trusting medicines, and everybody has like these superpowers of their own, which is what the medicine contains, so that way they could be superheroes as well. And the guy who used the firepower, we see him again in as the issue continues. So Travis comes in, sees this girl, his
daughter,
niece, his niece, who fell in love with this boy, and he's just, she gets a little pissed off with him because of him not being a real father, but because he's just there to just protect her. So they take their little daughter to Chuck E. Cheese because it's her friend's birthday, and we see the guy with his fire powers who stops a bully that's about to beat him up, and things just get heated up where, let's just say, after he stops the guy with the gun, there are a bunch of cars exploding everywhere, and the car lands on Travis's other little niece, that it looks like, and what's her name? Michelle. And we don't know if she survived or if she died based on that whole explosion. And when I read that, I was like, oh, I'm like, did she survive or did she not? It just leaves me at that point, I'm like saying, I gotta know what happens next. I hope that Michelle's alright, because she's just a little girl and everything. But, oh man, that left me in a big question mark, exclamation point, just saying, what's gonna happen next? I can't wait to read issue 4 of this issue. Really good, look into it. Recommended.
I'm waiting for you to get the cover up.
Go ahead, I'll get it.
I had it right there.
What are you waiting for? Go.
Because that's my comic of the week, and my comic of the week this week is from Dark Horse, and it's Halo Escalation, issue number 1. And this takes place after, to my knowledge, now there's no timeline here, they give you a little bit of things here and there, but I believe this takes place after Halo 3.
Was it after Halo 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the game, right, you're right.
And it involves This story involved Spartan. Her name is Sarah, and I forgot the captain's name. It's off the top of my head. I cannot remember.
Tom, was it?
Tom something.
Well, his name was Tom. I remember
Lasky.
that.
Captain Lasky.
Yeah.
And it all involves what happened during Halo 3. And they do make mention of the Arbiter. For those of you that didn't know, the Arbiter actually is not part of the Covenant that's working against the human race. The Arbiter actually is leading his own people and is... what's the word I'm looking for? He works with the humans, basically. He's not against them. He's not looking to destroy them.
So he's their ally.
Yeah, they're allies, basically.
Yeah, that's what.
And there's a mission that they send Lasky's ship out on with his soldiers to meet up with the Brute's head leader. I forgot his name. Names need to really be taken down.
I agree. Because sometimes he's...
Well, one of the heads who's willing to actually talk and try to get the Brutes on the UNSC side.
Right.
Along with the Arbiter's Covenant people. And there's this huge sit-down they have, and it's a huge debate, and they're trying to build alliances with the Brutes, and the Arbiter's actually their kind of link to the Brutes and to the head of the Brutes to try to get things to work out. And then later on we find out that the Covenant found out about that, and they attack. And now it's up to Sarah, Commander Lasky, and whoever is basically there to fight off and protect not only the Arbiter, but the Brute's main elder. Oh, here we go. Scrudge?
Yeah, Scrudge.
Let's go with that. And they actually end up running to a bunker and locking themselves in. And they're like, please tell me that we're going to have the cavalry is going to come jumping in and save the day. And she's like, no, I'm afraid we're the cavalry here. We're the backup.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's ended. So it's just a room full of soldiers, a Brute Elder, a few elites, the Arbiter, and a couple of soldiers. That's it. And Lasky.
So there's lots more that took place after Halo 3 that you wouldn't believe, but actually...
I liked it. It was high action packed, left out a lot for you guys to check out. There's a lot of dialogue, a lot of reading. And
definitely a lot of reading.
If you're a fan of Halo, get on this book. Get on this book immediately. It's not like the other book. Escalation definitely is something interesting, and hopefully we'll see the Master Chief at some point in this book.
That I was waiting for. But
I was too. I didn't see it.
But then you kind of have to realize that
Master Chief, they save him for the game and whatever.
Right.
So that's it, guys. That's all the indie books we have this week. Don't forget to check out ComicRelated.com, Comic Frontline, and Dark Avenger Inc. We are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and more. Guys, as you can see, we hope you have a very Merry Christmas. However, the Dark Avenger comic review will be coming up before Christmas, so we'll be talking more about Christmas there. But for those of you that are huge fans of the indie books, we hope you guys get all the indie books that you're interested in this year. I actually have a lot of books next year that I am planning to hopefully obtain and have for the indie reviews.
And for those who don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays.
In general, yes.
In general.
So look forward tomorrow, guys, to the vlog before Christmas, the final part, as well as the Dark Avenger comic review of the big 2 books that came out this past Wednesday.
Yep.
Looking forward to that. Take care, everybody. Keep reading, keep collecting.
And keep watching.
And any website that we mentioned here, if you are interested, if you like what you see, don't forget to bookmark it. YouTube channels, there's a sub button on all the channels. If you like what you see, click the sub button. This way you don't miss out on a single video. Same with this channel. If you like this video review, don't forget to hit the sub button around my video. This way you won't miss out on a single episode of the Indie Review, the Dark Avenger comic review, comic haul, or any other videos I have for this channel.
Yep.
So with that, guys, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you guys in the next review.
Yep.
Take care, everybody.
Later, guys.